And then on page 8, under Schedule B, was athletic field. I kind of touched on this. We talked about it a little bit in my budget, just trying to find the best way to incorporate the cost share of the athletic fields, because the town does put a lot of money into the field and manpower, mowing, spraying of weeds and stuff like that. So just how can we incorporate, what's the best way to incorporate it so that the county is paying their fair share? For this term here, for this budget cycle here, I actually just added dollars into the expenses based on, the calculations that Andrew and I figured we're using for manpower to offset that. But we could look at actually pulling it out as a separate field, because basically this is the layout of Schedule B is how we give our budget to the county, broken into these categories. So we could pull out athletic fields and have them separately. Yeah. Move the geo, if there is one geo. Yeah. So that's really the only major changes. The cost share agreement is, staying the same as far as based on population from the county to Thorsby, which right now they're paying about 62.6%, I think it is, of all of our operating capital costs.
Anybody have any questions? Yeah, go ahead.
My question is, have we provided them with the audit so that we could get do we have still capital outstanding?
Not capital, no.
Do we still have monies outstanding?
Operating,
Yes, we still have to do the one financial statement because they require a different schedule for theirs, and I just I haven't had time to do it. And I have to do it and send it to the auditors, then they'll audit it, and then they'll give it back. So, yeah.
George?
Yeah, so the county hasn't historically, but they've discussed with us in the past that they would be potentially willing to look at, broadening this to cover. There's things like the funding we give to the hall. There's maintenance and upkeep of green spaces and things like the trails and such that they don't currently fund, but they have, Dean and others at the county have said in the past that that's something we could look at. So obviously that hasn't been looked at here. I don't see anything in that regard, no.
As far as trails, I don't know that the county contributes with trails.
Yeah, they don't currently, but they have discussed that they would be willing to if we wanted to go down that discussion.
Yeah, I have not had that conversation with Dean. It's only based on athletic fields. Only athletic fields, as far to my understanding, not trails.
As far as prior discussions with last council and administration, Dean had explicitly stated that it's a recreation and like cultural recreation funding. So things like the hall and green spaces and trails could be something they would discuss with us if we ever discussed it with them. And it was left as when we renew the agreement, we could look at it then. But I'm not seeing anything here, so I'm assuming he never went out of his way to bring it up, which I understand he wouldn't go out of his way to, but we should have those discussions, I guess, is my thought.
Oh, we'll definitely ask them.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea for us. We haven't, we sat down with everybody else, but we've never really sat down with those guys yet.
Well, and it is kind of their practice with a lot of the other municipalities that they do fund a lot of those things, at least to some extent. They're not in our case, so just getting more in a even playing field with what they're doing with everyone else.
Are we currently up to date on any payments from them? There's nothing?
Well, we've gotten everything. There's one payment that I still have to send them the report for. That's for 2021.
Yeah.
No, yes. Yeah, that's the one that we accrued in the statements because we didn't know if they were even going to pay.
Right.
So I just have to do up the statement, send it to the auditors, have them audit it, and then.
How much is that payment?
I think it was 100.
I feel like 160.
I don't even know that much. Around there though, somewhere.
Okay.
2022 is up to date.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions? Can I get a motion to accept the cost share agreement for the information and bring it back to
I'll make that motion.
all in favor?
I know I'm not in favor. I would like to move that we provide direction to administration to make further inquiry into broadening the agreement to cover other recreation and cultural services provided by the town that benefits Ladue County residents.
Okay, so then,
I can retract my.
We can take that as a so noted if you like.
Okay.
We're already on top of it, so we can.
with a note exactly to add in, Corey's. Yep.
Okay, perfect.
That works for everybody?
Yeah.
Point of order, Mr.
Yes.
Mayor, can you reiterate your motion, Councilor Muffin, please?
I move the Ladue cost share agreement as presented. For information.
Information with administration to explore other options.
Administration to explore other options. All right.
Thank you for that. All in favor? That is carried then.
I didn't need to repeat what I just said.
I guess I could have done that to start with, sorry about that, for making you go through all that. 3.3, intermunicipal subdivision appeal board Thorsby membership. So, Theodore, you want to speak to that there?
Yeah, Ladue County, Joyce Gavin, who's their legislative coordinator and has extensive SDAB experience, of course. She wanted to know if we're interested in intermunicipal SDAB. Our recommendation is it's a good idea simply because Thorsby doesn't have enough building or anything right now to warrant it. We're pretty small yet. Calmar's interested, Warburg is in. The mayor and I are trained in FCAB. We're certified, and I'm certified through the city of Duke as well. So as far as the province is concerned, I have that training. Mayor has that training. As we know, he beat me by 1%. I'm still trying to get over that. So as development happens and as we grow or as we get involved in the region, SDABs are important because a subdivision appeal board allows the person holding a development permit to dispute the development officer's findings. It is a very diplomatic process, and it is an important process to have. It also allows folks to come in from the area, adjacent area, or if they're disputing something, it gives them a level playing field to be able to express their displeasure for development, or as we know, down at the lake, an intensive livestock operations happening within the county of Wetaskiwin. And so our recommendation is we do. I haven't seen any money that is warranted other than the STB meetings will be at the Ladue County. When they come due, they'll phone us. The practice is the member gets their package the day before, because you can't have it any sooner than that. You can't go looking, you can't do anything, and then you move to the meeting.
Are you going to comment?
I guess, I mean, we were touching on that there, but just to clarify, so there's no direct cost beyond the honorarium or whatever that may be paid if, the mayor was to go sit on it and you do his space, but beyond that, there's no cost. So I agree, there's no way we can reasonably do it on our own. There's no logical other approach, so I would move to support the administration's recommendation to express to Ladue County that we'd be interested in joining.
Yeah, all in favor? That's carried. And that's exactly right. I mean, we can't stand alone by ourselves.
No, that'd be silly, yeah.
So, fortunately, I guess we haven't had anything to deal with it, but if we ever do.
Well, the odd time comes along where it's so far between, we're gonna be so, ad hoc and kind of willy-nilly about the whole process and make mistakes just because it doesn't come up ever.
100%, and you need a proper clerk, and Joyce Gavin is a proper SCB clerk. I learned my lesson really seriously when I was CEO in Rimbey, is we had the only FCAB hearing in the history of the town, and it was 7 lawyers against the county and the town over a seniors complex. They felt we were supposed to build it on their land, the county donated the other land, the seniors complex was built on the county donated land, and all heck broke loose. And we had to have Brownlee Fry in there, and West Central Planning was there. It was a mess.
Well, that's it, when you don't do whatever, there's not a system, there's not a process, and everyone's kind of, flying by the seat of their pants. It doesn't work. That's a bad way of doing it. So I think this is a great solution. If they're doing it either way, we should definitely.
I totally agree. I think it's the most prudent thing to do. I can stand in as alternate, Mr. Mayor, if you so choose, and if council so chooses.
Yeah. And like I say, we both have our training. So, All right, moving on, 3.4, letter of support for town of Pinoka, Rather Ambulance Services. If you'd like to comment on that, say it on there.
I can, Mr. Mayor and Council. So basically, Fox Creek has asked us for a letter of support on this matter. Rural municipalities and areas, most of the time our areas are redlined. We can't get an ambulance here. We can't get one quick enough, or they have to come from another jurisdiction. And what's happening is the fire department is having to be responders. And in fact, there's been a couple instances where the fire department put the person on the truck and took them to the hospital as quickly as they can. Now, granted, firefighters are advanced first aid, but they are not paramedics, and it's greatly impacting the rural communities. Pinoka's had some problems, Fox Creek's had some problems, so their CEOs reached out to me and asked if they could send us this letter that they sent for our consideration, and would we consider writing our own letter and sending it to Minister Copping. Administration's recommendation is with council's direction, we're pleased to do that because we're just as affected here. Even though we don't have a hospital, somebody's still got to find us and take us to a hospital. So,
Well, yeah, then there is, I think we're in a little better shape, just given that they do have the ambulances in Warburg there, but I mean, I don't want to end up in that situation, and I mean, they have a valid thing. I'd move to provide direction to the mayor to provide a letter of support, you know, in regards to the Fox Creek request.
All in favor? Carried. Thank you for that. Okay. And next order will be the council reports. And first one, I guess, will be myself. So for the month of January, following activities, January 10th, we had our council whole meeting. January 18th, I attended the Black Gold School Division Board Trustees meeting in Leduc. It was supper meeting. Myself attended, CEO Donna, Councilors Musson and Zilber came. We were introduced to all of the board members. That's kind of the first, didn't even know half those guys on the board, to be honest with you. And there was a lot of discussion events that they wanted to know what was happening around Thorsby. They expressed their willingness to work with the council administration on common goals or anything to assist with, and we reciprocated. And it was just more or less a meet and greet. The board brought forward some of the events that happened previous and how they managed them. In particular, you know, when they had a lockdown here last year, they had that stabbing and stuff like that. And, you know, we didn't hear a whole bunch of that. And they kind of gave us some details. It was different, you know, but I was quite surprised in some of the stuff, how far it reached, how some of the threats, they got information from the FBI, you know, and they were credible. So it's quite the chain of events that they have. And then I was invited to attend a virtual meeting on February 6th, which I'll bring back in the next CAL meeting. And that was with all of the board, and then I guess the PTO, there's 120 people on it. So I did that. January 25th or 24th, we had a regular meeting here. 25th, attended the 3920 general meeting in Breton. It was a supper meeting. Myself, Sia Donna, Councilor Mustin is out there. The election followed. Dwayne Mayer of Warburg was the chairman. Sean Carnahan from Calmer was the co-chairman. We approved the January 1st, 23rd structure and operations manual. It's kind of all their bylaws and everything is in there. Meetings were one thing of note. The meetings were changed from monthly to quarterly, unless new business dictates a meeting in between those dates. And you know, and I know myself felt that, you know, there was nothing going on and we were having a meeting every month. It was kind of silly. So we did that. So the dates for this year will be April 26th, which happens to be in Thorsby, and then July 26th, October 25th will be another general meeting, and then January 24th of 2024. And then we watched and reviewed the video that they prepared, and there were some recommendations and some changes, and we'll be bringing that back once it's been edited. That's my report for the month of January. Any questions on that? Nothing. Corey?
Other than the stuff that you touched on, those couple of meetings that we were at, the only other thing I would have to add is the Duke Regional Housing Foundation over the last month there's been much discussion regarding grant applications for a housing project that I know Councillor Rash, filled you guys in to some extent on. The idea being that $500,000 would be funded by the member communities based on an equalized assessment formula, provides a rather low cost to Thorsby directly. I can't say exactly what that dollar value is, but an equalized assessment over the entire region at $500,000 doesn't work out to be crazy low for us.
Did they give us a dollar value that they're expecting? Because I see that Warburg approved $1,400.
Yeah, so ours is a little bit more than theirs and less than what Calamar's is.
Have you got an actual amount?
I don't personally have it, no, it's, like I say, it is just based off the equalized assessment. I don't know what the equalized assessments are for each region, each municipality, so a person would have to look up the numbers and do the math. Assessments change, right? So, that being the case, I believe every other municipality that is a member has agreed to provide said funding. The city of Leduc in the interim, just for the sake of getting the grant application submitted, did agree to backstop it in full while everyone else was discussing it, but I believe we are the only one who hasn't agreed, should the grant application be successful, whether we would contribute our share or not. So just as an update, something that we will need to talk about, at least I'm assuming we can wait and talk about it come when we go to revise our budget and do our final budget though. So just as an update though.
Anything else? Any other questions? No? Thanks, Corey. Councillor Miller has got the flu, so he's not here today, so, Councillor Messick.
Point of order,
sorry?
He does get kudos.
Sorry,
Councillor Miller gets kudos.
Oh, yes, he does. I'm sorry, he showed up last Tuesday.
We spent half an hour with him.
Knocking on my window.
And still didn't get his report.
Yeah. All right, I forgot about that, but, yeah, he's, the flu has gone through his whole household, so he thought it best to stay home city, so. Go ahead,
All right, so I attended all regularly scheduled council meetings. January 17th, I attended the FCSS meeting. Discussion regarding Christmas Eve, Seniors Appreciation Day, and Volunteer Appreciation occurred. Sarah Russell made mention of emergency preparedness, Blue Monday, Connect 39 articles, and community helpers. January 18th, I attended Black Gold School Division dinner with a meeting with most of the council here at Leduc County. Highlights revolving around engaging students and the town with opportunities. Also discussed was the crosswalk and how to improve the intersection for student crossing. January 19th, I attended the Thorsby District Chamber of Commerce meeting. They had a successful Christmas in the Village as well as the gala event, which gave them a nice financial cushion for future projects. May long weekend is approaching. Ideas for a slow pitch tournament, beer gardens, and parade were entertained. Other ideas are welcomed. The revised bylaws were approved. Societies Act Incorporation Certificate has been issued. Snow removal in the downtown core is an issue. Priority is to be given to that area, and that area is not seeing that to be the result. Elevon credit card application is still being pursued with a percentage kickback to go to the chamber. At present, the chamber has 49 members. January 25th was the 3920 meeting at Breton. There was lots of discussion and presentation from Mike Rose regarding the asset software program. February 2nd, I volunteered to be paymaster at bingo for the Seniors Club. That is my report.
Thank you. Any questions for Councillor Musson on the report? No? If not, go to Councillor Rash.
So mine was just simple. January 10th, we did our committee of the whole. Then on January 18th, I attended the library board meeting. At the library board meeting, there was discussions that, of course, we had reached our budget and had approved for the full $48,000
to be given to the library. What else did we discuss? We discussed the hours and what that may look like once hockey is over. We're going to be doing escape rooms this weekend at the complex starting on Friday. So they were looking for volunteers, and you can register for a time and do an escape room if that's something that interests you on this long weekend. They're looking at applying for grants for a few different things, neat little projects to set up for people to do when they come into the library. And then there was some discussion about, they were to contact you, Donna, just to give you a revised listing of the new positions from the election and let you know everybody's contacts and such like that. So Gail was supposed to reach out to you. And then, yeah, they were talking about the volunteer. They were creating a volunteer database. So I don't know if that's something. I did say that, like, Jesse here is also doing something to that effect. So I guess we'll see what they come up with, and that might be something that we can share as well. And that was about it for the library. On January 24th, we had a regular council meeting, and then on January 26th, I attended the seniors bingo. And that was January.
Thank you. Any questions for Councillor Ash? Yeah.
What did you mean by Jesse setting up a?
Well, because remember Jesse on the town site, I'm drawing a blank, but we were getting together like volunteers and stuff like that, or what was the thought process on that front?
So the page is actually done in the back end. It just needs to be populated, and I was just waiting for a list. I mentioned.
Yeah, because I had mentioned it too. Because I think the thought process was there's groups out there that need volunteers. So Jesse was going to be like the PTA needs these positions, and the library board needs these positions, and stuff like that. So
I thought you were talking about logging hours.
no.
Advertising for the group.
So the page is done. I just need
Information, if there's anything they need. Okay, sure. All right.
Any other questions? Thank you, Councillor Ash. So can I get a motion to accept the council reports for information?
I'll move the council reports for information.
Mr. Tracy, all in favor? That's carried. And we will go to the CAO reports. First one, CAO reports, CAO Donna.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So for the month of January, pleased to provide this report for council and the residents of Thorsby and those online that are listening tonight. The CFO and I conducted the interviews for the full-time finance clerk position and conducted 3 interviews. All candidates were terrific, and at the end, a difficult decision. With much deliberation, we selected Ms. Cheryl Philippic as the new finance clerk. Of course, she's been here a little over a month, and you've been introduced to her, and she is awesome. We're just throwing everything with the kitchen sink at her, and Cindy can speak more later, but from my standpoint, she's terrific. The cleaning contract was also advertised and awarded. Our cleaners of many years have completed their contract. Frogtown was awarded the contract for the town office, and as of the writing of this report, we're pleased with our new contractor. We're deeply appreciative of our past contractors who were stellar and great to work with. Both the CFO and I are actively looking at our benefits insurance and our main AMSC insurance for savings, and we're starting to entertain other companies to look at what kind of cost savings can we save on the benefits, not chopping the benefits, just what better deals we can get. AMSC has been very predictable, thinking we're going to go with them every year. We asked for documentation with respect to an employee in November. They got back to us in January. We've asked for some risk management things on some of our equipment and so forth. They haven't got back to us. We wanted benefit booklets, nothing.
Finally got them today.
Finally got them today. That was November.
Well, that was a year ago.
Yeah, almost a year ago. So the COO of AMSC has come in to see us. We also sent them a disengagement letter in December saying we have to give them a year's notice. That was our year's notice. They're not happy with that, but we'll entertain them next week. We've looked at 2 other benefit companies, as well as rural municipalities has also provided us with a presentation on what they do and some of their benefits that are encompassed in their main plan that AMSC is not. We'll certainly get back to council when we made our decision, but we believe as a rural-urban, probably rural municipalities of Alberta has a huge pool and is able to service it, and they are way more responsive, nicer to work with, and as well as a couple of the benefit providers. So we're still in those investigative processes, but we want to make sure we get the best bang for our dollar. We're not wasting money. Our planner, Vincinia Planning, and myself spent time with Leduc County planners updating our inter-municipal development planning document. That is a legislative document, and it's mostly language and clarity issues that we agreed to. So it was a good meeting. It'll have to come back to council and when we're ready, because it's inter-municipal, but it was, the edits were nothing substantive. I assisted Carol Rempel, our community animator, to finish off 2 grants that have been applied for before our term here. They require document finalization, financial finalization, and the final decision on the rock fountain that will be in Taylor Park with Mr. Taylor's plaque on it as an acknowledgement of his vast contributions to the community. We do have the rock. We got to go pick it up. We're going to, it's too big for Taylor Park, so we're going to have the quarry maker cut it appropriately, and we're going to, from our end, turn it into a fountain and put up Mr. Taylor's plaque over top. I've spoken to former Councillor Nathan Raymond, who's going to give me the wording for the plaque, because that was part of his project. I just said to cut it down from 100 paragraphs to a few lines. So anyways, he's happy to do that. And that way we can, we've talked to Mr. Bassick to run power. It's not going to be a long run to run power. We just dig a reservoir, and it's a recirculating pump. So we can do a lot of that ourselves. The second part of that rock that we paid for, we think will be a beautiful addition to the cenotaph, and we could probably have a local artist. We're thinking paint poppies or etch something in it as a nod to our veterans. So I want to work with, Phyllis doesn't know this yet, but I want to work with you and the Legion to see what we want to do on that rock for the cenotaph. Sure. The executive team met in January to discuss bringing the trail system into the town and forming an advisory committee made up of town residents to advise us on the use and looks of the trails and to assist with trails if necessary. We've already had a couple of volunteers come through already. Mr. Raymond contacted me and has a ton of ideas, and we've had a nice conversation. I'll look up with him in March to discuss it further when he gets back from his vacation. And so we've had some interesting contact. We just had a brand new resident today. He uses the trails daily with his dogs, and he was happy to start volunteering. So that was pretty exciting. And he also has a small excavator, skid steers. He's starting his own company, and he is a civil engineer. So this could be kind of fun. We're still working with Mr. Uchuk, and or we will be, and it's now time for me to contact the Ruffs to see what they want to do for their land. Everything is cordial, so we'll just keep it that way. A notice for members for the advisory committee will be in the first week of the March Connect 39. And at this time, those we have talked to are quite excited, and ideas are starting to formulate. So I think Mr. Raymond's text to me was probably 10 texts long, but he was pretty excited about being asked. So I attended the FCSS Advisory Board meeting, and the topic of the meeting was a debriefing of the Christmas sales. Notes have been taken, processes developed, and the event will be more powerful next year. That's what it's all about. I attended the Black Gold Invitational Trustee and Council meet and greet, and we talked about lots of discussion topics, including the high school students assist with the Christmas sales. They thought that was a great idea. The success of the elementary school involvement in Christmas sales, to which Michaela is going to tap into again next year. Of course, the inevitable crosswalk and how we can be involved with the schools as a town. Many great ideas were exchanged, and I look forward to a great relationship with the board and superintendent staff team. I attended the 3920 AGM in Breton on the 25th. And a great big thank you to Breton for their terrific hospitality. Great meeting, nice area initiatives were talked about. We continue with CAOs to meet monthly, and those meetings are going great, and partnerships are starting to form to each municipality's benefit. Our next meeting is in Kalmar. I attended the meeting with Mr. Kearley and Badger Water Meters. The meters are terrific and quite affordable and fit well within our capital budget. We actually can do more than we originally hoped, but I won't steal Mr. Kearley's thunder on his report. The CEO and Mr. Kearley, at the request of me, met with the executive of the chamber regarding upcoming events, snow removal, power to the gazebo at Taylor Park in partnership. Meeting was robust and great things came out of it. We'll set up a business service request when the chamber has queries from their businesses or concerns. They can fill out that request. We can track it and expedite it for a resolution. As well, we'll always support events with street closures, barricades, et cetera, to make the event safe and successful. And later on this spring, when it settles down a bit, some hour in the day, we'll get together with them and we're going to start looking at a new snow policy. Well, there's no snow on the ground, so we can figure it out a bit or keep it, but we are going to have a business interaction. We're in the middle of tax collection period, and residents are taking the letter seriously as we are ready for the arrears properties that are lawfully allowed to be on the tax sale list after March. It's not a pleasant task, but it's been neglected for too long. And as always, it's a pleasure to serve Thorsby. I do have one attachment to give to you, just for your information, to let you know that on page 30 of that attachment, on page 30, Jesse, are you frozen? You'll see in the second page, first paragraph, look at the line, in those cases, municipalities will be better served issuing an order pursuant to section 545 and not section 546 as a means of ensuring if their costs of enforcement are unpaid, they may still add them to the tax roll. This is from Reynolds Murph. We have, with everything we have attached with orders, we have used section 545. So we're in compliance well before this came about. I'm thinking that rural municipalities, as an amendment, may have to look at this to fix this a little bit, because some municipalities will be using 546, and you can't attach costs of issuing the orders. It's kind of a silent overlook on the Municipal Government Act. They never put it in. It's not a punishing thing. They just didn't clarify it. So I believe it's worth a resolution at the next RA to lobby the Minister of Municipal Affairs. But we are in compliance naturally. So I just asked Reynolds to send this to me as a thought process, Mr. Mayor, for you, 3920, to look at an amendment to just clarify this, because some municipalities are going to be out of money or aren't going to be able to recoup the cost of issuing the order. All right. Question?
Yeah, I just have a question in regards to the trails. So the current group that does all the work on the trails, are they included in all of these discussions, or are we just taking it over and not asking them for their opinions and such? I don't know.
Mr. Mayor, through to Councilor Shelley, they've never been out of the discussion. It was discussed with them quite a while ago. We had to bring it into the town, not to strip anybody of anything, but it is town land, town responsibility, town liability. And that's why we're looking for a community trail group that's made up of more residents, so we have more volunteers, more input, and more thought. And that's looking for more folks to be on it.
So the group that currently does it is included? They've been invited, like they've been discussed, talked to recently since all of this has gone down?
We talked to Barry.
Our committees in bloom, have they been?
We haven't heard from any in Bloom.
In a while.
In their agreement.
Mr. Rash was notified, and he was discussed with in December, and I did have an email from him that he was glad the town's finally taken some interest and some kind of responsibility. He was worried that everybody was going to be kicked off. I assured him no, and that I would put out a call for community residents to come and give us input on the trails in March.
Right. There was something else too, but I can't remember off the top of my head what it was.
Regarding the fountain and the electricity at Taylor Park, I was under the understanding that there was not going to be any electricity or water over there, so I'm confused that
Probably no water.
has come up.
No, it's a really quick, easy dig for electricity from the pole to where we want to put the fountain. It's an easy do. It was in the wishes of the other folks that were on that committee way back when Taylor Park was still going
Corey's
on.
probably going to comment on that.
Yeah.
Well, I was just gonna say, I mean, that seems nice having fountain stuff, but it's a very low power draw. It seems hardly worth it to even, do the power. You can get, for probably less than the cost of running the wire, you could probably just do a self-contained solar unit.
Yep, we certainly could. They've asked for power into the gazebo too, so there's that consideration. We haven't costed that out, but I'm not opposed to a solar farm.
Well, a self-contained solar pump, I mean, if you're talking very low power draw, I mean, it seems almost silly to even bother trenching it at that point.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like, if it, comes on its own account with its own billing, then yeah, there's gonna be a
All the
minimum,
administrative stuff that comes along with it.
well, and a minimum charge per
Yeah.
month.
That's what I'm saying, all that, those are, minimum fees and stuff, yeah, they add up.
Yeah, and thank you both councillors for your thoughts. I mean, nothing's been set in stone quite yet, but we have had a request from the residents to have power to the gazebo, because the last event at Christmas in the budget, power cords everywhere across the lawn. They were pulling power from the cannabis shop, that he graciously allowed us power to be used and so forth. So that's been a thought process. We have to cost that out, and it depends on what the cost is, and do we shut the meter off? I mean, again, you've got a monthly charge, I realize that. So it's been a request, and of course, I wasn't here when Taylor Park was.
Mm-hmm. I think the promise was that there wasn't going to be any reoccurring charges to the taxpayer. That park, it's set, it's done.
Yeah, beyond general maintenance of grass cutting and stuff, there was supposed to be a no ongoing cost, was kind of the general notion.
Consensus at that time.
Okay, so, yeah, if we have a bit, okay. I've heard rumors there might be a benefactor come along that wants to pay it, and that's fine too, if that's what they want to do, is build it, pay it, but don't worry about that when I see it on paper, I see the person in front of me, so we'll see. That's fine, I just didn't, we're trying to honor the rock issue, Mr. Taylor issue, we're trying to get it in, and it will go in.
Oh, and I think the fountain idea is great,
Yeah, I wanted a fountain there too.
Oh, fountain, I think is great.
Look at us go.
The way that, things have progressed, solar is really economical, you gotta pull the pump during winter either way, so it's not like the batteries are getting frozen or anything, I don't know, it just seems like maybe something that is gonna be far more cost effective.
We're fine with that, and then, again, we found the rock too high, so we just thought, well, where could we get the quarry to split it in a nice way, and then Legion can have the other part, because it's granite, it's a gorgeous rock, it's beautiful. So the other half can go to the center castle, we can make that look nice. So comments taken and appreciated. That's awesome, thank you.
Just a question, how's that peace officer coming? It's gonna be set up by the end of the month?
Calmar has put out a call. I think they're in the final stages of recruitment. Even if we need a peace officer, the CPO Pasquale will come, we'll just pay him for jurisdictional change in hours. So we have one at our fingertips if we need it.
But we had a police officer, it's a very good police officer.
He's a bylaw officer.
Bylaw. Yeah. So we haven't had anything horrible that we can't handle administratively yet. So far, everything's pretty quiet. We know there's sidewalk issues and those kinds of things. I get that, and I can issue orders to that, and we just have to enforce them. So, we patrol every day to see what's going on. The guys, it's pretty quiet right now, but they're kind of helping out a little bit. So far, nothing that would require a peace officer intervention at this time.
Other questions?
Sure.
So in regard to that house that's being built on the corner, like, is there anything, I don't know, the town or residents, or like, is there any sort of comeback on somebody in regard to what occurred last week in our subdivision? Like, it just seems like nobody is responsible. A whole bunch of us got totally taken disadvantage of, and there's nothing we can do about it. Like, is there?
Well, I mean, with that, you'd have to sue the homeowner, in all honesty.
I was just gonna ask for clarification, I have no idea what we're talking about.
The contractors that were putting in the lines for that corner house, they severed our fiber optics, so I had no internet and I worked from home for multiple days.
Yeah.
So I guess
That's bullshit.
Yeah, that is bullshit. And so, like, oh, well, sorry about your luck, like, I don't know.
That's not okay, they have a duty of care to, like, they need to do first call and take.
Well, yeah, that's,
They did do first call. I can clarify, yeah.
Okay.
They did do first call. What's happened is the builder has taken off out of the country for a little holiday. So the homeowners contacted everybody. They had a ticket. They gave me the ticket number for TELUS to be here. Everybody else was marked. TELUS indicated they marked, but when the homeowners gave me their ticket number, TELUS couldn't remember a thing. So it got clipped, so TELUS is gonna have to fix it, so the issue is with TELUS, not with
Yeah, no,
Bowen.
then TELUS, if there was first call, and TELUS just didn't mark it, I mean, okay, well, that's TELUS, which,
That's right.
yeah, that's a little different equation.
Yeah, and TELUS is trying to get out of it, so I would suggest,
one would tell us, and that's.
Well, but I mean, I actually have the report because I have some ins, and TELUS does have the report, and they did do the markings, and there is a drawing, so I don't know what went wrong.
no marking.
There's a drawing, but did they come out and mark it?
There's no marking.
I was gonna say, it's part of the confusion that they've only recently properly acquired the Axia
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So up until January, the guy who does the TELUS marking wouldn't have marked Axia stuff,
Yeah.
and now he's expected to mark Axia stuff, but it never occurred to him because he hasn't been doing that until now. Like, I can see how there could be a weird confusion
Yeah.
on TELUS's end.
If it was any other contractor with Alex Bowman, I would say, well, wait a
Yeah.
minute here, but.
Yeah, Alex isn't negligent, he's not careless, so,
No.
yeah.
Andrew, Public Works, you have a comment?
Yeah, so with TELUS, it's a third-party company that actually does the marking. TBS does
Okay.
the marking for ATCO, Fortis, and TELUS.
I've seen them around.
Yeah, so it's a completely separate, company that does the marking for those specific ones.
Sure, and if TELUS hasn't adequately conveyed through that they've acquired Axia's stuff, then why would they, like, I see how this confusion could occur given the transition from Axia to TELUS.
It's probably gonna happen lots.
I could see it being a thing for a little bit because it is a very different
It is.
change, right? Like, I mean, it is different, or why would the guy who's used to marking the TELUS infrastructure suddenly occur to him that he should mark the fiber optic because it wasn't TELUS until now, even though TELUS owned that company?
100%. TELUS is waving at us in the community, though, they know Sydney.
Yes.
So,
How many days were you out of service?
Just basically 2.5, half the week,
a lot.
payroll week, it's awesome.
We were happy to have you.
Payroll is T4.
There's a bill.
Just hotspot your phone to your computer and send the bill to TELUS.
TELUS, yeah, right. Just don't charge me for internet this month.
And just one other quick question regarding the crosswalk. Has anybody been manning that?
Haven't had a chance, it's on my radar to do, Andrew and I have been doing other things, but we've been, in the afternoon it's manned, for sure, by the teachers. So I'll try and get out there one day a week for sure. I usually come through there early in the morning, so I can get some stuff done and then go up there at 8 o'clock. But, when I'm talking to the superintendent, he was saying that so far, you know, that there's more folks being driven to school, but they're gonna start walking here pretty soon, so we'll get a schedule. We're also looking into the strokes, same strokes that Calmar has. I'm just working with transportation, the wheels on the bus go slowly round and round. But if we can get a set of strokes on the cross arms, in other words, the overhead lights stay, and you get the strokes on the side, especially when it was foggy this year, right? So those strokes would have shone really well. You can barely see the lights, but I'd be able to see them from Glen Park Road.
They get your attention.
100%. So it hasn't left our radar. It's moving a lot slower than I wanted to.
That's transportation.
Yes, sir. It is. And I have been with transportation. I still can't tell them.
One of those things, I've never seen a bureaucracy move slower than transportation. It's painful.
It was, even working inside, it was painful for 4 years. That's very true.
TELUS customer support.
Yes.
That's not technically bureaucracy. That's a purposeful, like, private corporation, they just don't want to deal with you.
Okay, one more thing before I let you go. See, Donna, there, I have been paying attention here, and Canada Summer Student Loans.
Yeah, we skipped over that.
You didn't get a
Just
comment.
making sure you were watching.
Yeah, I know, I knew you were testing me.
We put the application in, on time, 3 for public works, 2 for recreation, and we're waiting. We'll see.
Well, we didn't find out last year, so what, April?
Yeah, then it was, hello, can you come? We're interviewing you now. Oh, you can't? Okay, move to the next application, right? So we're waiting.
I think that's often the way it goes with that one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost a given that you're gonna get it, but they never tell you you're gonna get it until the last minute. I think that's kind of just
I don't know,
part
Warburg
of the
never
course.
got anybody.
Warburg never got anybody.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
No.
Really?
And Brett only got 1.
Wow.
So we drew the short, the lucky straw.
I don't know if we've ever not got it.
I don't think there's been a year where you haven't.
We wanna hire people until we know for sure.
Yeah.
Well, no, of course you can't, yeah, no, but it's always the kind of the last minute, oh, we actually got it, but it seems like every year we get it, but it's always the last minute,
Yeah,
so.
it's a scramble for us, there's no question. So thank you, sorry I skipped over that, and I appreciate all your questions tonight. Keep coming every week, every month. Good.
Any other questions? All right, thank you very much. See you, Donna. Public Works Manager, Andrew Curley.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I didn't get a chance to hand these out to you guys prior. It's just some information on the Badger meters and endpoint. All right. So the picture displayed here, I did a fancy slideshow and everything like that, and her computer doesn't do PowerPoint. So I had to switch back over to PDF. So these here are the Orion cellular endpoints, which is what we're looking at switching our MXUs over to. Right now, MXUs run a VGB system, so we literally at the end of every month have to drive around in the truck with the laptop and all that stuff to try and gather meter readings. With that, as the temperature gets colder, batteries don't want to send the information properly. So on top of driving around, we then have to go out afterwards and manually go up to all the meters and read them by hand. We're averaging during the winter time, I think, 18 to 20 per month that we have to physically go out and read. And if for any reason at all the battery, we can't grab any information, then we have to set up an appointment with the resident to be able to go inside and physically read the meters. This alleviates that. No more driving around, everything can be pulled directly from the office here. End of the month, readings come around, office staff can go on the computer, go month end, it'll draw all the information in from town. It's based off of a cell phone, like a SIM card type thing. They can draw all that information. Move-ins, move-outs, we no longer have to go out and physically read. Office staff can pull that reading directly from the office here. It's updated every 15 minutes, runs on a 15-minute interval. So every 15 minutes, it's sending that information out again, updating and sending it out. And that information is also stored in that unit for 48 hours. So if there's for any reason at all, severe loss of power or something like that, we still have 48 hours of gathering the information from those units. From there, the other upside to these ones, they are good to minus 40 degrees. They have a 20-year lifespan on them, same as the water meters. That is the unit itself and battery have a 20-year lifespan.
Will it notify the water leak?
So it's not necessarily that notifies us, it's actually the meters themselves. So the new meters that I'm looking at, you want to scroll up, these are the Badger Meter E-Series Ultrasonic Plus meter. These ones are quite a bit more advanced than the meters we currently run, including our newer style meters that we've been running. You guys will notice that there's, at the top end of the meter there's that additional lock. That is an actual valve inside that unit, which allows us to cut the flow back. So we can either have it open all the way, we can have it half service, quarter service, or off. Which means that if we have residents that are away on vacation that didn't let us know that they're away on vacation, all of a sudden have a massive water leak inside their house, we can physically turn their water off to their house for them without having to go out and find their CC and shut it off. These meters will let us know instantaneously of a water leak. If it's registering a water leak in a house, I will get notified. My team will get notified, the office will get notified. It'll let us know how much water flow is, per hour, and these things are capable of reading up to a liter of difference. So, you know, if I grabbed 5 liter pail, went outside, turned that tap on, filled that 5 liter pail up, shut it off. Within 15 minutes, that meter will tell me that it used 5 liters, which is.
So how do you react to that? Do you get a bunch of false alarms then? Is it, so somebody's,
No, that's like, I'm just stating like, I can actually measure
Yeah.
up to the liter of volume usage.
And so that cover is screwed on, so nobody can tamper with it easily?
That is correct. It is actually, it's, riveted, there's rivets that hold that in place. Again, these meters have a 20-year lifespan on them. These are ultrasonic, they're not actually an oscillating.
Yeah, they're not like a displacement system.
Exactly,
Yeah.
which is one of the issues that we have now is the ones that we're using run an oscillating plate. So we get any debris that goes through there, jams that plate up, or any of that stuff, restricts our reading. We don't have that issue with this. I talked to Badger, one of their representatives, asked them about sediment going through these. He's like, that meter's gonna explode before it has any effect on what it's reading. If you're getting that much sediment going through, it'll destroy the meter before you run into an issue with it reading what's going through. Fortunately, we don't have that issue of that much sediment. So, some of the other things I wanted to let you know about it.
Everybody gets it now.
Oh, yes, thank you. So there is an app, that the residents will be able to download on their devices, whether it be a laptop, their phone, anything like that. And it is called Ion Water. Now, I need to figure out how to project this to the TVs. So I'll show you guys here. This is just a demo. So on their phone, it'll pop up like this. They'll have all their information in here. So they can only look at their own meter. The upside to this is that if we have people that own a house that rent it, they can actually give their renters the ability to look at this as well. So the renters can see what their consumption is, stuff like that. This one here is just a demo. So like right now it says current leaks, ongoing leak, continuous flow of 5 gallons per hour in the home. When, hang on 1 second here. When a leak is detected and they are hooked up to this, it actually sends them a text message. It'll let them know that there's a leak detected in their house. So it'll give them their meter ID. It'll tell them how much gallons per hour, how much water was lost since detected, right? So if for some strange reason they don't get it, and all of a sudden, you know, a day down the road they look and they're like, oh my God, like 880 gallons went into my house last night.
And so if a resident never looked at that app, they would still get a paper bill and
Yes.
pay their bill as usual?
Yeah. On top of that, it gives me the ability to send out notifications to anybody that has this. So if I have a water main break, I can have it pre-set up on my end where I basically open my map, click on all the houses that are affected and hit send notification. It's already populated notification letting them know that we have a water issue in their area, water may be interrupted. So even if they're not at home and they have this, they're still getting that notification rather than going door to door to door to door and then trying to catch people that get home at 5 o'clock again. Gives them their weekly usage, last week versus this week. Gives them their, monthly usage, and their 30-day average usage of water consumption. In multiple different forms, like you can actually go, there's, usage in a calendar form, so you can tell, you know, days that you're not home, your kid's all of a sudden having like 5 showers a day or whatnot. Also comes with a savings calculator, so it can give you ideas of how to reduce your water consumption in your house, different things. Mine aren't old enough to move out of the house yet. There's also a billing portion of it. This is optional. This is an option for us, but we can actually do billing for the residents through this as well.
Paperless.
Go paperless or go paper. So it gives us both of those options. So we can still send out the paper bill, but we can have the electronic one. You know, we're taking that extra step to make sure that residents are receiving their bills appropriately.
And Badger said that, when those who have the app, they'll be happy to come out one evening, invite everybody out, and they'll be happy to show everybody how to use the app.
Yeah.
The town hall meeting, so.
It's innovation and it's trying to keep up, but there's some people that don't want to keep up and it's hard for them and it's hard for us. So
It'll be,
yeah.
That's the upside with this is like.
But you don't have to use it.
Yeah, exactly. It still gives us that opportunity where people that aren't technologically savvy, they don't have to change their form of doing things, right? Like they can still get their paper bill. Works out perfect.
And we get notified of the leak, so then we notify them,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
We're more on top of things and more accurate.
Yeah, and with it coming in every 15 minutes, if I see a loss of pressure in a section of area, I can tell beforehand, before it even hits the surface of the ground, that I've got a water leak somewhere.
Of course.
I was just gonna say, in regards to the leak warnings and alerts, so I guess, so like, does the meter shut off or just send an alert if it registers?
Just sends an alert. The valve is manually controlled through our computer system.
Because, yeah, I mean, like, we've had a few different automatic leak detection things that I've dealt with over the years, and often they become problematic in regards to, you know, say for, you know, when you have that periodic weird atypical use, right? If someone's filling their hot tub that day or whatever, now you're getting an alert every 15 minutes if there's a leak.
Yeah.
As long as it's not shutting things off and, or you can adjust it or turn off, you know, alerts or something.
It's all manually controlled from our end. These valves do their own testing cycle.
Okay.
From what the Badger representative was telling me is that it's usually like crazy early in the morning where the valve will do its test of opening and closing.
Sure.
Just to keep everything moving, everything flowing properly. If a valve does run into an issue, it does notify us that there's an issue.
Well, like I say, my bigger concern is if you're constantly responding to nuisance alerts, are you able to make adjustments? Like a lot of the ones I've dealt with, it doesn't appear that these do a lot of like calibrate to usage and find typical usage. But then if you have anything out of typical usage, it starts giving you leak alerts. And, no, I'm just filling my hot tub today. It's fine.
No, it doesn't. Like it'll still send me a notification, like if somebody's got an excessive.
Yeah, but what is this excessive and can you adjust it or whatever to meet the circumstances?
It's all adjustable on my end.
Yeah, as long as, like I say, if someone has a high usage for whatever reason, you can at least adjust it to limit the alerts, I guess, is my concern.
I know everybody that has hot tubs, so I'll make sure that I adjust theirs way higher.
Yeah, you know, that's a couple times a year when the season rolls around.
Yeah, just before spring when everybody's filling their hot tubs.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's getting up a lot of time and aggravation for everyone dealing with these non-leak leaks, right? So,
yeah, exactly.
Environmental police are using too much water.
Exactly. The biggest thing that I'm looking at is the staff hours, right? You know, regular month-end readings take forever. It's horrible to drive around and hope that you pick up all the meters and then to come back and find out that there's still 20 that you have to go physically check, and then, you know, some people are in behind locked fences, and some people are inside their houses and stuff like that, so, it's gonna cut down on the hours spent on trying to get those readings. It's all gonna come straight to the office here.
So this is in the works to happen
This is in the works to happen, yes,
for the whole town?
for the whole town.
In their capital.
Originally, I was looking at a 3-year project. They got back to me on some of the prices, and it looks as though we might be able to have the whole town done in 2 years. So that's all new endpoints and new meters.
I was just gonna comment here, as far as on the storage temperature is down to -40, which is fine. But, the operating temperature is 7 degrees Celsius. There's a lot of, especially in the trailers and stuff, where you get people have their meters underneath. There could be quite a number that are less than 7 degrees Celsius at times, which is gonna throw the reading
Are
at
you
you.
looking at the meter itself or the
Yes.
endpoint?
The meter itself.
The meter itself.
On the specifications page, operating performance, they're saying normal temperature range, 7 to 50 degrees Celsius, is a ±1.5 accuracy. There's gonna be a lot during the colder months that are outside of that range on the low end.
We did talk to them too, if I remember at the meeting about the trailer situation, right? Did we have a lot of mobile homes
Yes.
there?
Yeah, there's a lot there, I mean, there's heat traces and shit, they're barely above freezing.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that he had mentioned was it's the airflow that's going past them, is the biggest thing. So like these will still run at cold temperatures.
Yeah, the accuracy depletes though, is what I'm gathering from the specifications, right? You're gonna be outside of the 1.5%, which is what our bylaw actually says is kind of the expected deviation.
Okay,
We can double check.
yes, I will double check. it.
Okay, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, if its accuracy is only to the standard of our bylaw up to 7 degrees, I mean, there's gonna be a lot that are at 1 degree. So
Yeah,
I don't know what happens to the accuracy at 1 degree, but I know this is saying it's not within that range.
yeah,
Just a question, yeah.
No?
yeah, no, that's perfect.
All right, any other questions? Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
They look pretty awesome, though. It looks good. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I have one other question. It is all based on, like, using SIM cards and cell infrastructure.
Yeah.
What does that do? What do we need, I mean, what's gonna be the cost and ramifications as far as, TELUS or whoever we use? I think we use TELUS, but yeah.
So it actually runs through a cloud-based system, which is included in our setup.
So we wouldn't have any additional cellular carrier costs?
There is an additional cellular, cost, no, it was 99, I think he said it was 99 cents.
Yes.
Per month.
Per meter?
Per meter.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. So we're looking at like, what, like $400-500 a month in
Yeah.
cell costs? Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Next, recreation manager, Kelly Crowe.
Again. So for our membership, for the month of January, we actually went up to 98, which is the highest we've seen quite substantially. Included in that number is we had 18 Arctic Spa memberships, and we're seeing those come in almost daily now, so we're seeing lots of those new memberships. Facility-wise, the Pipestone School, they were supposed to do a school-wide trip to our facility right before Christmas, but because of the cold snap or cold spell that we had, they postponed until January 20th. And they rent the whole facility, the field house, the rink, the bowling, and they just come in for the afternoon with all their staff and students. We hosted a U11 hockey tournament at the end of January. Dance studio renovations, they're still coming, slowly but surely.
It looks great up there.
Yeah, it's pretty much like just half of the flooring probably in the dance studio side is left to be done. All the other flooring's in. Bathroom vanities should be going in hopefully this weekend. And then it's just some finishing stuff like baseboards and mirrors and whatnot. But yeah, it's looking really good. January really was a month of mechanical problems, and, probably will be budget problems. Just kidding. So January 9th, we started, with the follow-up to the heat issues that we had before Christmas. We had all of our, like thermostat, ducting, piping, everything traced, because stuff has been shut down over the years, or thermostats disconnected. And in the main lobby area side of the building, I think we have 10 or 12 different thermostats, so you're never knowing what is, if it's on, if it's controlling anything, whatnot. So we had everything traced, and have it mapped out, which is great. We only had to replace 2 zone valves, and we added a thermostat sensor to the play school room. So everything is working, connected, it's warm, wonderful. And then, you know, the other side of the building decided to start acting up. So January 10th, the makeup air unit in the field house failed. That was just a flame sensor to get it operational again. It's since failed again. We've had a couple issues with it. And so far, minor repairs. We're hoping that the cleaning that we had done to the makeup air unit on that side is going to really help with things. Again, like the rest of the other side of the building, it was completely filthy. Like thick dust and debris in there, insulation that had burned to bits. Like it was everything. So on January 25th to 28th, we actually shut down that, the whole field house side, the weight room side, had everything cleaned, even high dusted all of the beams because there's so much dirt and stuff up there. So no point cleaning it and recycling it all back into the makeup air unit. So, January 24th, we had our annual inspection with flash fire. So all our extinguishers and emergency lights have been inspected. Everything is good there. January 27th, we had to add the glycol back to our closed loop circuit. So the boilers that run in the main lobby area, there's 2 boilers attached to the closed loop that goes across the arena and then provides heat to the Zamboni room, the ice time room, and the dressing room. But because of all the problems we had before Christmas, there was no longer any glycol in the system. So it was just water running over top of the hockey rink, which could lead to more serious problems. So that was completed. And then on January 30th, I actually met with a new mechanical company. We're looking at transitioning away from Gateway Mechanical. They just don't seem to be doing a lot of ice plants anymore. And they only have one ammonia certified tech on staff at the moment, which is a problem if there's any, after hours emergencies and whatnot. So, so we met with another company and we're going to look at maybe trying them for our shutdown and see how that goes. Capital projects, we've completed 2 in the beginning of the year. The first one were the arena lights. We've changed them to the LED. You guys should take a look. They're absolutely amazing. I didn't even realize how bad our lighting was until I saw it. It's fantastic. And the quote, or the invoice did come in under budget, about $6,000. So hoping that council would be interested in using that remaining funds to partner with Thorsby Minor Hockey for a scoreboard upgrade. That wouldn't cover 50% of the project. Thorsby Minor Hockey would have to bring substantially more money to the table than us, but it would be a contribution from us to support the project. So it would be a very good investment.
Well,
I think we
maybe
have
to get Pepsi and Coca-Cola to do those signs. They don't do that.
Yeah, we still have, I think, Pepsi on our sign. I think that's the original scoreboard.
They don't give you any money for that anymore.
No, not a thing. I know hockey would really like to upgrade the scoreboard. We are having a lot of issues like during games where the buzzer doesn't work. Andrew knows, he probably works the clock a few times. Same with the sound system. Again, it's so outdated. So they're willing to bring some money to the table. They weathered COVID very well, and they've done some good fundraisers, so they have some money to spend, but they were hoping we could partner with them a little bit. So this was my suggestion, because it came to me after our budgeting was already completed, so I don't have anything else that I'm willing. And the other capital projects we completed was our water fountain bottle filling station. So we now have one right outside the weight room, which makes great sense, and everybody's very appreciative of that. And then we put the second one upstairs between the two washrooms for the new dance studio. So that project did come in under budget, about $4,500. So, yeah.
Thank you, Kelly. Any questions for Kelly at all?
Did you find mirrors for the dance studio?
Well, I have a quote from Crystal Glass for the mirrors, and we do have that money in our budget. But I want the project, the other part, like the painting, everything to be done, and then go from there. But, yeah, they're pretty.
Yeah, Andrew, go ahead.
I'm just gonna let you guys know, if you do go into the arena, into the rink area, bring some sunglasses.
Seriously.
It is, it threw me off when I turned those lights on.
Oh, same with our ice guys. They're like, wow, you can see every detail on the ice. So
Oh, yeah.
I think, you know.
It looks fantastic.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't like seeing all the grooves and the and yeah.
That should help with the power bill too, right?
Yeah, it'll help greatly with the power bill.
It's beautiful in there, it truly is beautiful in there now. Yeah.
All right, good stuff. Thank you. SDS, board report, you wanna, any comment there, see it on there or not?
We'll get it for you next minute. Thought I had it in my package here. While we're waiting for Jesse, Mr. Mayor, just something on the river intake pumps. We budgeted in our capital budget about $150,000 because we've got one that's leaking, gonna fix it. They came in at $77,000.
Nice.
Yeah. Now we still have to get a picker truck and so forth, so that's a couple thousand, probably a couple $3,000, but still we're way under. So they're going to take that other pump that's sitting down there, just in cellophane, hanging out with the bees, and they're going to see if it fits. They're going to take a look at it as well. They're going to haul it back to Edmonton, take a look at it, and at least we'll have. We're going to leave the one that's leaking currently working in. We're going to rebuild the one that's been, or put the new one in where the one's down, and then we'll rebuild the other one that's leaking. So that's good news. Yeah, very good news. And now we're just waiting for the sewage lift station pump cost. This company's very good. ECM is very good for pumps. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it. So, anyways, all our suppliers are working real hard with this. It's really nice. My booze bill expenses are going up. No, they're working really nice. With your indulgence, Mr. Mayor, for FCSS, FCSS partnered with Aleut County, FCSS, and the Family Resource Network, Warburg, FCSS, taking turns putting on weekly articles in the Connect 39. This article has all the recreation and FCSS info and programs in it. The provincial affordability payments rolled out in the middle of January. These payments are for those whose income is under $180,000 a year, and are either a senior, a parent with children, under 18, or anyone receiving certain benefits from the government. Michaela's helped many clients apply for this benefit. Michaela's also attended quite a few meetings this month with Committee of the Whole, Recreation FCSS collaboration meeting, which included our 39 partners. The FCSS Advisory Board meeting, she meets monthly with Sarah in Leduc County. She meets bi-weekly with me. Christmas Elves Regional Wrap-Up meeting and the senior lunch on January 11th with Carla from the county. And they're slowly building their relationship with the seniors and building trust in the relationship. The FCSS looked after 16 clients this last month. Also and one of the things too, under FCSS and Recreation, we were talking today about a bike rodeo this spring as a drop-in, and invite Kalmar, Warburg, Breton, bring the kids on a Saturday morning, involve the RCMP, do some age-appropriate bike safety rules. Get the RCMP will have we'll have our police officer by then, get the speed guns out, kids can pedal in the speed gun and get their picture taken and those kinds of things. It's a lot of fun. And, under recreation, Michaela started a parent tots group by partnering, and it's going very successful. It's every Thursday morning from 10 to 11. And for the past month, they've had roughly 6 moms and 10 children attend each week. All the February programs were planned, and Michaela started a Lego club. It started last Monday. I have to donate my old Lego from when I was a
they
kid.
were looking for them.
I've got old, like I've got 1960s Lego.
There's 23 kids.
Yeah, it's awesome. Michaela attended a marketing webinar on January 19th, and the survey's gone out to the public that's on Facebook to gather information for program planning, and it's really coming along, and there's getting a lot of good information out of it. So, Michaela has been busy. That's what we like to see.
Go ahead, Joey.
I don't know if you know the answers, or I don't know who would be responsible for this, but when we first met for our first FCSS board meeting, we were told that there's training that we need to get. Who's gonna be responsible for setting that up for us? Is that something we do online? Is that something we need to attend? Does someone come to us? What does that entail?
Probably me, helping you understand the act and helping you understand the preventative nature of FCSS.
Okay, because you said there was the ICS 100 and the DSS.
Oh, that's
Disaster emergency social
That's emergency management, yeah.
So you would train us on that stuff? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then would it be Sarah or is Michaela going to be doing the taxes for the seniors?
No, neither one. We do have a lady that did them last year. I don't know if I can remember her name. It's
Marcia did them?
Marcia. She's very good at it. We didn't really want Michaela involved in, that was my decision, involved in doing income tax for seniors because she's busy enough. And it takes a lot of expertise.
Well, yeah.
And Marcia has done it every year. She likes it. She's comfortable having her phone number put out in the public. The seniors can phone her directly. She can drop off everything at Michaela's office, and Michaela can hand out the packages. So that's the way Marcia wanted it this year. So we're happy to do that.
All right.
Saves us a lot of headache. Marcia's very good at what she does. Nice lady.
Is that our Marcia?
Yeah, Mercy and Milky.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah.
All right, thank you for
And
that.
it's good to hear that she's got this children's program going on, because I believe it's in the FRN building, and
That's it.
that it's getting some traffic through that door.
Yeah, which we need to do, I agree. And tonight, this afternoon, when I was at the Arctic Spot Center this afternoon, just, I don't know, bothering the seniors when they were playing, when they were bowling. There was quite a few kids came in after school, and people were registering for stuff, and it got busy and really noisy in there all of a sudden, so, which is really good.
Any other questions? Well, thank you for that. And 4.5, legislative support. Jesse?
Paper copy today, we're having printed issues again. For the month of January, I moved all this furniture along with Andrew. As you can see, everything is different again and also the same somehow as it was before. So I did, I think, everything in my office. Andrew helped me with some stuff near the end, and then he did everything at where Cheryl's sitting, and I helped him with some there. Throughout the month, I've assisted Cindy and Cheryl with anything they needed or still need during training. So if ever Cindy's not around, I'm here to help Cheryl 100%. I've completed both January council packages. I've uploaded council meeting recordings and minutes to our online program, still as per normal. I've taken over and taken care of any office supply orders. We don't have a lot, paper towels, pens. I continue to monitor and update the website and Facebook. So one thing I like to do every morning is I check the Thorsby community page and I see if there's anything that I think would be awesome to promote with the town as well. I've spoken with the library. It's hard sometimes to always remember to be sending each other things. So if they post something online, they're absolutely okay with me putting it on the website as well to give it just even the little extra bit of attention. So I try to do that every morning. And that's not always everything, but I've updated information businesses gave us during 2022 renewals. responded to multiple contact attempts, both being non-residential businesses. There are 3 assured payments on their way, 1 actually just came today. And all other businesses have paid or have informed me that they no longer require a license. So I think that's pretty great. I've not had really very many issues at all. Everybody's super happy to just keep going to another year, and everybody's super nice. Our businesses are wonderful. I've assisted residents at the counter over phone, by email, etc. I have put all agreements up to date now, so I'm doing that every year. I started with last year. I've pulled everything that's expiring in 2023 and I put it on a calendar. They are right on my desk. I'm keeping track of when they expire, what we need to do to renew them, if they need to be brought to council, etc. The 3 binders that we had before were becoming really stuffed and full, and I couldn't really flip any of the pages. So I got 2 larger 6-inch steering binders, and then I made it 2 binders, and there's space to keep adding new agreements or larger agreements. I have had 4 bylaw service requests logged, with 2 being for the same situation. I've spoken with all residents who lodged their requests and informed them we are working as hard as we can to get a peace officer in place. Everyone was kind and understanding that we're without a peace officer at the moment. Right?
Sorry, it's puppy stuff. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's
Puppy stuff.
And everybody's been nice. I've not really had anybody be mean about it. Everybody's very understanding. I organized the picture legends for the mayor's images that will go up on this wall here. And I'm making efforts to track down every mayor's year of service. And then keeping track of that from now on, because I think it's something really important for us to know for our history. At the moment, the only thing I can really do is go to the provincial archives in Edmonton. So Andrew and I are making a trip on Friday. And I'm hoping that I find my years in there, and then we can put them on those pictures. And hopefully they're open Friday, but I think they are. We were gonna go Monday, but they were closed.
All right.
That is our
Well,
report.
just we had, when we had all the pictures on that wall, we also had the years that we were mayors and whatever.
For sure, and I
But,
just wish I
That's
had
all disappeared as well, I guess, that's some of the things.
hard to find things here. I wish I had a nice list. So what I'm gonna do is have like an ongoing list that's on the server that we have a paper copy of, keep it going every year. If people ask us about our history of mayors, I'll probably extend it, add blurbs, and maybe put it on the website too, and like our history. And just a bit of history of that.
Yeah, I know that Adam Kronowski was mayor twice, so we had multiple dates on there, but like you say, we had everything done. But I think that fire screwed everything up.
For sure.
Yeah, there used to be a ledge all the way along there.
Now there'll be a ledge again.
Yeah.
They just might get some corner and I'm in one of those big boxes that are at the back.
I'll double check. I'll double check.
All right, thank you. Any other questions for Jesse? No, it's good to see them all up there, for sure. I need a motion to accept the city reports for information.
I can make that motion.
Kelly and Jim, all in favor? Carried. CFO report.
Okay, so, as Donna said, Cheryl's here, and we've been training like crazy, and she's picking everything up really well. She's really good with residents, and what she doesn't know, she asks. She's not afraid to ask questions, which I love. And, yeah, she's doing awesome. I sent out 19 tax recovery letters to those properties that are 2 years in arrears. To date, we have collected from, actually, I think it's 6 now, and then 1 came in today, made a payment, and is going to have it paid off by the March 15th deadline. So on March 15th, if they're not paid, then the tax recovery process begins, and registration of the debt on land titles begins, and then they have basically another year to pay before they go to tax sale. Then I sent out tax statements to all properties in arrears, and we've collected on a few of those already, so that's good, promising. I did additions and deletions and changes to benefit and pension programs with changes staff and salary changes. As Donna indicated, we met with that benefit company as we continue to look for options that could save the municipality money without compromising the benefit quality. Continue to gather information for spring budget adjustments, looking for cost savings, just waiting for assessments to come in, and we don't have those yet. I reconciled all pension and benefits for 2022, processed utility and tax penalties for January 2023, processed all the pension reporting for the January 31st deadline, processed T4s on payroll, prepared door knockers for arrears utilities. I think the list was about 28 people, and I had 2 shut-offs and 1 reconnection. Processed utility billing, processed payables with Cheryl. I've been in contact with the auditors to set up dates for pre-testing, so now I do know they are coming on the 27th of February to do pre-testing, and then the audit will begin on March 13th, and the statements will be ready for the April 25th council meeting. So I have identified many areas for improvement since being more hands-on in the billing and cash receipting side. We are going to do a full audit of all accounts to ensure that things are set up properly, that we have all the information we require, and accounts are billing correctly. There are many areas that require better processes to ensure small details aren't overlooked. So my goal is to streamline processes and functions while increasing the service we provide to residents. Financial information. So when I did this report on Thursday, the outstanding utilities were $66,763.06, of which $6,000 is subject to shut-off. Outstanding taxes, $195,079.46, of which $65,000 is up for tax recovery, and $117,000 is still owing from 2022. The operating accounts as of Thursday were at $186,000, and the savings accounts were at like $1.3 million. And then the variance report is attached.
When you say that 117,000 is still outstanding, that doesn't, people that are on the monthly billings?
Well, the monthly billing should all be paid by December.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I got you.
So that's people that have not paid their taxes. So.
Any questions for Sheriff O'Donnell or Cindy?
Are we gonna go through the variances or?
Well, I mean, I sent it out if you have any questions.
Yeah.
No, I sent it all up to you.
Yeah, no, it was sent out. I mean, everything, obviously, all revenue is unfavorable because we haven't collected it, and all expenses are favorable.
Yeah, and I'd say unless anyone has any specific questions, I'll just
Yeah.
give you accept for information.
Yeah.
All right.
I move to accept for information.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
There we go.
Carried. Thank you, Clark. All right, correspondence. I'll read this little kudo we got for Public Works to January. Just a note to say thank you to Andrew and the maintenance crew for doing such a fine job of clearing the snow away from 54th Avenue. Good work is very much appreciated. He lets them know that they are doing a fine job. Rosemary Reserve. And then Black Gold School Board highlights there for your Donnie. Do you want to make any comment on that at all, or just all straightforward?
It's pretty straightforward. It just was nice to see. They reported in the report they had with us, so it's kind of nice to see our name and lights in their board highlight report.
Yes, lots to it actually, so I guess if anybody has any questions, they can bring them up for the next meeting or something. All right, and then the Yellowhead Regional Library Provincial Election Resources, what's that all about?
Mr. Mayor, being that representative, I guess.
Yeah.
The library board.
You're the last one holding the bag.
I drew the short straw. I'm just teasing. But this is just information for you, so you can see what they're doing. It's their election process. It talks about what they do, you know, how folks can get involved with the library system, how they can promote their MLA, how they can do advocacy. So it's just talking about how to prepare for the upcoming election, kind of don't get involved nicely, but don't get involved kind of thing. When we talk about the hub section and how valuable libraries are, and I gotta throw Jessie under the bus here, but when her internet was out for 3 or 4 days, Jessie discovered our library, and, she loves our library.
She loves our library.
She reads like crazy, so, it's pretty cool. So, anyways, it's just to give you some more information, it kind of gives, the residents, if they want to look at our council package, just some ideas on how they can engage the MLA about the library system and how they can follow up. So, it's more something for the residents. So it's being shared through council, that way it's on our website.
All right, thank you. Okay, and then the last item for correspondence, Alberta Health and Alberta Health Service EMS 811. And,
Yeah.
much of the same, I guess.
Here, I have it in here.
Message from President Mauro Cheese.
Yeah.
How you pronounce that, but.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I just had it mixed up, Mario, yeah. Basically, talking about the new EMS 811 shared response, so that, the paramedics don't really have to sit with you in the hospital anymore. You can be dropped off to an 811 response. So in other words, or if you're calling in and it's determined that you're low priority, in other words, could be a toothache, it could be something, or, you know, whatever that is, you can be transferred to, an 811 linked nurse for further triage and assessment, and then if an ambulance is required, they'll come and get you. So they believe with this system they can take a lot of the feared callers away. There's a lot of people panic when things happen in Faribault. So they have registered nurses on the 811 link, and we'll get this on the website too. So they've already got 2 weeks in, and 6% of the EMS calls were transferred to 811. So that's pretty significant, actually, 6%. And the most jurisdictions in Canada, they're triaging up to 20% of EMS calls. So if we can realize the 20% transfer to 811, we could probably free up some ambulances. It would be nice to take away 40,000 low acuity calls per year out of the system. Would be nice too if the high acuity calls could be transferred off to a triage nurse in the hospital, and the ambulance could get back out there too. So that would be awesome. And they're contracting, they're asking for a request for expression of interest for transporting patients who don't require emergency care between care facilities. So we have to move between the Royal Alec to the Glen Rose or something, inpatient transfer or whatever. So that decreases some things. So they're working it. We'll see what they do for statistics. We'll keep an eye on it, and we'll continue to put this in your council package. So you can also not only keep an eye on it yourself, but talk to the residents about it. You have information about it in case they go, what's this 811 thing?
All right, thank you for that. Any questions on any of the correspondence, sir? If not, can I get a motion to accept those items for correspondence for information?
I'll make that.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Okay, that kind of, before we go to camera, that, Gary, ladies who've been sitting there patiently, you have some questions? Go ahead, Debbie.
Who's responsible for the sidewalks in this town? I don't have a sidewalk, so, but I was downtown today.
Yeah.
Had I slipped, there would have been a bunch of trouble happening. In front of ProLube, the snow melting is going across because the sides get dipped, and it's just glare ice, and it's thick.
Yeah, I know it's been thawing and freezing. Yeah, go ahead, Andrew.
So in most cases, it is the property owner's responsibility for the sidewalk out front of their house. Amazingly enough, I had this conversation today, actually, Nathan Raymond contacted me in regards to that. Because he's been throwing salt down on it, and the salt's just not doing anything.
No.
Unfortunately.
You can see it's running off the road.
Yeah.
It's not even running off their property.
Yeah.
So.
Unless
Unless you guys go out there and chop that out and get rid of it, because seniors have to walk by there or cross the road and then cross the road back to get to the post office.
Yeah, I'm trying everything I can. There's, the way the roads are curved, there's not really too much that I can do. As much as I go and chip that out one day or more, it's gonna be back the following morning.
Scrape the snow away from it. Why is the snow pile
I
up there?
can't make a straight blade curve around a road, unfortunately.
Well, on 778, there, around the corner from the land, the sidewalk there, the stones are all broken up and they're all uneven. So if you go along there with a snow blower, your blades get damaged because they're hitting part of the sidewalk and not another part. It has been reported, but I don't know if anything's been done.
I know that they have, gone through and shaved the, sections of sidewalks that were elevated higher. You get moisture underneath them, they're gonna heave. We can't get around that. We have, way too much moisture underneath the surface of our hard surfaces around here.
That's because the water runs from the south down to Thorsby.
Yeah, exactly what happened.
Yeah.
We're sitting on a swamp.
Yeah, it's over in my place, Debbie, I got about 8 inches of water on my
I bet you my sump pump runs
Yeah.
all through the winter
Yeah.
because we get everybody there, we're at the end of the line. So we're pumping constantly.
It's a fight that I
So in the
have.
wintertime, it's where I used to kids that have a skating rink beside my place.
Irene, you go ahead.
Yeah, it's just curiosity, really. Donna, in her report, mentioned the gazebo at Taylor Park. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought a gazebo was sort of open. And that did, when it was first erected, had a door on it. So if it's got a door, can it still be classified as a gazebo?
Well, I think everybody's calling it that, including me. It's, I don't know what else to call it. It's kind of like a park hut or something.
I know at one time it's been discussed that you take the door off.
Okay.
Because if it was left on and it was lockable from the inside, we could possibly have a great increase in population.
Of what?
Andrew, go ahead.
So even if somebody did go inside and lock themselves inside, there's the windows on the outside are all, they unlock from the outside. You can't lock those from the inside. So you still have access to the inside. It is a gazebo. The structural form is called a gazebo.
It's just
Enclosed.
It's just
It has
enclosed
mesh
gazebo.
windows
It's
or
not like
walls.
a gazebo like they have outside the library.
It's the structure style is a gazebo. That's why it's called a gazebo.
Pillars and a
because
roof.
The structural build of it is a
I
gazebo.
just refer to it as a shed.
Fair enough. I'm gonna be watching for reproduction though now.
You have to be here at night when the kids are out roaming around.
I'm not here at night.
I'm here lots at night.
We're here lots of nights, Cindy and Eileen. We'll be watching for reproduction over there.
A little chilly right now, but.
Well, we'll be watching. If I find anything, Irene, I'll let you know.
That's part of the strategy to get more.
More residents, yeah, to grow the population of Thorsby.
Put a sign on there, smile, you're on camera.
That's very good.
Anything else you would like to bring up, anything back there? Thank you very much for coming and bringing your insight. I guess we'll take a little break. We've got a small encounter session, so if I can get a motion to take a quick recess here for 10 minutes, and then we'll come back to
I'll
count.
move to make a quick.
Tracy, all in favor? Carried.
I'm going to counter.
Thank you.
I can have that.